Alright, hello and welcome everybody to another stream. We're live in Charlotte. We'll be taking this CRJ-900 down from Charlotte to up north to back to Toronto. It's a flight that operated, I think, earlier. I think it started about 40 minutes earlier. Actually, we're starting this live, but it's Blue Streak 5047, I believe, from Echo 9. And we're going to be taking off here shortly. VATSIM should be pretty well covered unless people get offline. Let's go ahead and connect to that while we can. I don't fly the Blue Streaks all that often, so if you hear me not answer to a Blue Streak call sign, it's because I don't answer to a Blue Streak call sign, so probably have to do a lot of say-agains. Oh, we already got our PDC. So let's hop in the flight deck. We're already boarding here with GSX. You can see everyone kind of coming on board. And I am using scenery for Charlotte as well. So inside here, we're kind of in a turnaround-ish kind of state. I'll have to actually get us into a turnaround state, but anyways, that should be there. Actually, stay off. Reverses can get turned on. Our stab trim would have been tested already and set on as well from earlier, so that's pretty much the turnaround state now. That's pretty good. So let's go ahead and get into our performance numbers. I'm going to pull up the flight plan here on a different screen. Okay, so we should be loaded with a 0 fuel weight of 6453 or 530. That's close enough. With the fuel plan ramp of 1038, I'll be generous and give myself 1050. We'll enter that in. We'll set the payload. And we're not going to send it to the FMS. We're going to do it all manually like we do. What I am going to send to the FMS is this data because it's kind of a pain to do it in the sim to scroll the speed knob. So now that we've been set up correctly with the weight, we can go ahead and initialize this FMS. So the other crew would have left these on nav, so we'll go ahead and turn these back to off. And within 5 seconds, back to nav. Verify that our FMS is synced. And we'll go ahead and go previous next page, grab the coordinates, throw it in there. So we do that every flight usually. I don't know why the yaw dampener won't re-engage. There we go. It's off now. So flight plan wise, we're going from Charlotte, KCLT, to Toronto. And we're flight 5047. Okay, I don't know why that mouse keeps doing that. Let's go up to the top and we'll see, just make sure, yeah, 5047 is correct. And let me pull up the chat just so I have that on the side as well. I have like a million tabs open. There we go, cool. Anyways, yeah, so our alternate, I'll bring that flight plan back up here, is a CYYZ Windsor. It's kind of a weird alternate, but sure, I'll use it. And the first waypoint we're going to type in is our departure here. We're going to, and again, this is not the beta, so we're going to type this in a bit differently than when we do real world. We would type all the waypoints in the SID, but in the current build, we have to type in all the SIDs, SID first, runway, and then all the waypoints. So we're doing the Critter 6 via fields, and we already have our clearance, which calls for runway. Let's see if they say it in here. It doesn't. Let's check the ATIS. Runway 36 center, runway 36 right. Let me bring out my taxi chart and see what's close enough for us to us today. If you guys are getting the chat as well, feel free to ask any questions you got. Actually, let me bring up the one you guys can see. And import from SimBrief, get that going. 36 center, 36 right are the any use for departure. Or, yeah, I mean, probably 36 right, I'd imagine. So I'll plan for 36 right, and I could do a quick swap if need be. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Anyways, with that part of information, or that part of the info plugged in there. Hunter, hey man, how are you doing? Isaac, welcome to the chat, and Flights and Gaming, nice to see all you guys. What gate are you at? We're at gate Echo 9. I believe this is the gate that it did depart from. It's currently actually in the air towards Pearson right now. But yeah, gate Echo 9. These people are coming on board. Go ahead and start the APU before we get a temperature complaint, which is quite often. And we're about 10 minutes to push either way, so that should be good. Bit test is complete. Go ahead and start that. And the APU's an unmonitored start for the most part. You should still monitor it, but it will turn itself off and self-extinguish a fire on the ground only if it detects one. So, pretty nice little system. Either way, our next waypoint is field starting there, then Isla. SA, got the packs coming on nice. We're going to go ahead and, I think it's, 7 degrees, so probably a little warmer in the cabin, so we'll cool it down a little bit. Isaac says, let me know if lane 3 adds more waypoints past lane. Yeah, we'll do. This is the current build, so if it's not fixed, it'll hopefully be fixed in the next one. Willie says, how do you program the winds on the FMC CRJ? Yeah, I'll do that. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. We'll get to that part in a second. Flights and Gaming, gonna fly with us? Awesome, man. We'll be here. Sounds good. Then we're taking the airway of Q69 over to Ricks. And make sure I spell all these correct. Then direct to Oxman, which is most likely, I believe that's our transition into the arrival, Link 3. So put Oxman in there. Departure arrival. Again, arrival. Link 3, there's Oxman. I'm not going to put a runway yet because it's too far in the future. Don't care. It's going to change anyways. And that's been executed, so that all looks great. Everything here has been filled out. We're going to go to the perf page. Our fuel currently is loaded as 1055, and for APU usage, we'll say 10500. It's about 40 pounds every 10 minutes on the APU. Cruise altitude is 370, so put an F in front of it. And our alternate cruise is 240 towards a Windsor. It's quite high for Windsor alternate. And then a zero fuel weight of 60, what I put in here, 64,595. 64,9, what did I say? 595. And fuel plus zero fuel weight equals total gross, so that's in there. Next page, this is the question Willie was talking about. Owls, hey, welcome to the stream, man. Welcome, welcome. Willie was talking about how do you get your cruise winds in here. So let me go ahead and get my other screen online. Let's see which one I put that to. Boom. Nope. Not that one. There we go. So this is the page right here. Let me see if you can see it real quick. Kind of put it right there. Anyways, so I'm on the page currently. You can see this information up here. So this is in SimBrief, the JZA format, and this will give you a nice RJ format. So we have climb, cruise, and descent, climb, cruise, descent, and these are our winds, and then this is our deviations from ISA. So we type it as you see it. So on climb, it's going to be +7, so P7. On descent, it's -4. And sorry, on cruise -4, and then on descent it's -16 with an ISA deviation of 2 degrees. So we'll just put 2, and that's how we do that. On the next page here, we'll scroll down a little bit. We got a reserve of 1588. This does not count the contingency. That's just reserve. And the departure time is 0300 Zulu. Put that in there. It's probably going to be different. Taxi fuel is 400 by default. Check what they gave me. 500. I don't believe it. I'm putting 400. I don't believe SimBrief. Anyways, that part's done. I'm going to click perf one more time. Make sure we have the advisory VNAV selected, although it doesn't really work that well in the sim. Climb-wise, 288.77 is standard. Cruise, top of climb. Next one, 246.76. 246.76. Again, it's no auto throttle, so it's just there for our memory. and that ascent at 77290 is standard with a glide path, or sorry, our vertical path angle of 4 degrees in our descent. That may change. We can change that on the fly as we go, no pun intended. We'll click the radio page. We're on auto. We've already been given our squawk code, which is, let's bring that up real quick. We're squawking 3565. I'll go ahead and put this on both sides. I mentioned that they should only be one number. But anyways, they're on there, and whenever you type it in the FMS, just verify that it did actually go, put that on standby, verify that it actually go in the RTU down there. So squawk code's been put in. Our clearance is, let's see, Critter 6 fields as we planned. Flight plan route, Toronto 370, squawking 3565, remarks cleared, route 6 departure, yep, transition 8,000. So we'll go ahead and put an 8,000 up here. 8,000 is set up in there. Simple takeoffs, welcome. I was about to call you Calgary, but it's Cat Gary. Hi man, how are you doing? I'll click the magic B button because I can't be bothered to scroll. So there's your altimeter setting for you. Anyways, we're done with the radio page. It's set to auto. The only thing I will do is get up our next frequency here, which is going to be, looks like Charlotte approach of 125. So good thing about the RJ is you just type it like that and it'll know what you mean. Even in the real world it does that. It's quite nice. So that's all good. Next is the MFD menu. So we're flying from the right hand seat, so it's going to be VNAV on the right. I like speed and altitude and range alt select. This is what gives you that little
departure. Good evening, American 602, ready to taxi.
All right, this is what gives you the little altitude prediction of where you're going to be level by. Uh-oh, my mouse is going to need to be charged. That's not good. It's going to freeze the sim, and I'm hoping it comes back. So let's see here. Unplugged my mouse, plugged in my mouse. There it is. Sim is frozen. Hopefully you can still hear me. I think Flight Sim Gaming's booting up to fly with us as well, so we're basically good, really ready to go, to be honest. But let me know where you are along in your flight planning and all that kind of stuff, and we'll wait along a bit for you. I think the sim just unfroze. There we go. Oh, I hate wired mouse. All right. Anyways, so yeah, I like having range alt select, speed and alt, and then on the pilot monitoring side, in this case the left side, we're going to put that person on, and they'll get some fuel information over there. So that's pretty much it. I've gone through that. I'll copy active, which means there's a second flight plan, and the other person copy active as well, and that one's good to go. Down here we can go ahead and set our HCP. So let me go ahead and, this is the HUD control panel. Let me just make sure this flight plan goes away for you guys. There you go. So I'll bring up the charts. And about there, I'm planning 36 right. We're going to see what I get, but I'm planning 36 right, so we'll ask for it if they give me something different. But our elevation is 723, so we'll click runway. Click runway again, we get the elevation. It should clear out when I start typing, but it doesn't, so I'll have to manually press clear. Elevation of 723, we'll set that in there. And a length of, should be written right on the chart. But if it's not, I have a couple more places I can find it. There it is. 8676. 8676. And 3 degree slope is fine. We'll go ahead and set VMC. So what this does, this is a HUD control panel. Move this off to the side. And basically for the captain, it sets up their HUD for the correct symbology out the window, so the synthetic runway will be useful and all that kind of stuff. If you have to do you have to come back and do a Cat 3, or you're doing a you're using the HUD for a low IFR takeoff as well. So we just set that up. We're also flying from the right as well, again, as I mentioned. So the flight director has to go to the right-hand side. Currently it's on the left-hand side. So we'll click the XFR button to transfer it over. Now it's using flight data from the right. And we'll set the MCP a little bit. So we've been cleared to 8,000. That's been set. We have a runway heading of 003. So we'll go ahead and plug in 0, pretty much already there, 003. The new one will feature, notice the course is 003 as well, which is correct, but the needle's not correct, so in the new one the needle will be correct. And we need an MDA. The MDA we set is for acceleration altitude. It tells us when we can start speeding up. So once we pass our MDA, instead of holding our speed at V2 plus 10 to 20, we fly, we scroll it up to the VT speed or plus 10, so 202, 212, somewhere in there, and that's after we pass our acceleration height, which is usually default to 1,000 feet above ground. So I don't have the data to get that number because my sim brief won't give me that, but we could just add 1,000 feet. So it's 750. We'll call it 1750. So select the MDA to MDA, click it in, and we'll just start scrolling. So we're looking for 1750. So at 1750 above sea level, which is 1,000 feet above ground, we're going to start accelerating into our flap retraction. Julian, welcome. So that's all been set. MCP is pretty much good to go. We're basically almost ready to go. Yeah, just waiting on Flight Sim Gaming. How are you coming along? I think that's Flight Sim Gaming on my left there. Air Canada 3, looks like 19. I'm not an Airbus expert. 319, 318, one of the baby buses. So we'll get some before start stuff out of the way here. Go ahead and get rid of the ground power, get rid of the chocks. I believe they said boarding complete, so we'll go ahead and close the passenger door. And they're still doing baggage, as you can see. So we'll keep the doors page up here. Let's check actually the passengers. Usually 23 is where they like it, so where it's actually 20 degrees in the cabin, let's go ahead and warm it up a little bit. Usually 23 is kind of where they like it there. Flight Sim says still loading up, no problem. Patches, hey, I enjoy your channel and insight. Thanks, man. Thanks for watching. Glad you enjoy it. Hope it helps. I'm going to pronounce this incorrectly, but I'll call you DeSakes. I don't know. Hey, just out of curiosity, what's the longest flight you've flown in CRJ? Think about it was airtime 2 hours and maybe 30, but total on the engines running was 3 hours with de-icing and all that kind of stuff. Maybe 320 maybe actually, 300 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. So it goes far distance. There's some companies that run Vancouver to Chicago with a CRJ-900 LR, so it's quite a long distance, and it can do it. I mean, this is not even near full fuel. We're not even using center tank, so you can load them up. So anyways, our trim today, we'll say the loading is complete. I actually think it just completed, so we would have got our load final, our load sheet. The trim today is 6.8, so we'll set 6.8. That moves way too quickly, but that works. Anyways, that's been set. We'll go legs, throw that on, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 570 is what I'm looking for. Oh, I'm pretty close. That's close enough for me. Quite sad that I guess you can memorize that. But anyways, Flight Sim Gaming says ready when you are. Yeah, Vancouver, Chicago, Sax. It's really far. It's a far one. Fly by Mo, welcome to the channel, man. Thanks for watching. Charlotte Poach is online. Yeah, I got him tuned up on the standby. I just don't want to listen to, to everybody talking. So, Flight Sim Gaming is pretty much good to go. We'll go ahead and go to our doors page here. They're still open. I guess it's up to me, isn't it now? Let's go ahead and close these doors. The doors are all closed. The tug is connected. Throw that on. Steering is off. Transponder number 2, pilot flying side, and we'll go ahead and request push. I'm going to check that clearance real quick. I know in VATSIM sometimes they don't want you requesting pushes and all that kind of thing. So I'm just going to ask. Doesn't say anything about it, so I got to remember I'm blue streak. Let's go ahead and set our clock really quickly as well. So go mode GPS, goes to ET. Okay. What was that, ATIS? Information, November. Charlotte approach, blue streak 5047, information, November. Gate Echo 9, ready push.
Ramps on control, just contact me for taxi. Actually, I'll be closing shortly, so I'll probably be closed before you're ready for taxi. So just switch to advisory.
Okay, over to advisory. Thanks for chatting. Blue streak 5047. Well, that was
we'll see you.
Probably the
American
quickest
602,
ATC interaction I've ever had. So it's up to us. We're going to go ahead and taxi.
600,
Let's go ahead and put 1228.
American 602, climb maintain 16,000, clear direct JoJo.
Keep it just in case he wants me later for whatever reason. So I think this is Flight Sim Gaming is good to go. Let's go ahead and tell our pushback guys that we're ready to go. Obviously won't require any de-icing today. It's above 7 degrees, so we don't need wing anti-ice for the taxi. It's going to be a nose right, tail to the west, basically. Simple says, you overflew me on final last night. Oh, really? That was pretty sweet. Yeah, it was a pretty dark night, pretty bumpy night actually on final there a little bit. Not too bad, but for nighttime, usually nighttime is smooth as glass. Brian says, hey, good to see you on the weekend stream. You can announce the Discord. I was just wanted to ask, did the turnaround state for the CRJ in your tutorial video because it's more realistic? Because in the real world you always... So, let's go ahead, sorry, face east. There we go. So for the RJ, unless it's the very first flight of day or if it's been towed away for maintenance or something like that, most often if you get a pairing later in the day, anything later than like 8 a.m., the airplane's already flown already because someone's taken it from 5 to 6 a.m. Go parking brake released. Played some game and I'm pushing now, by the way. And anyways, so we usually get to in a turnaround state. Don't know what that was. Big bump. Borna says also, what is the default turn on in this? Just this one here. So aircraft and then turn around. It leaves it kind of close. Basically, the ground power is connected. That's about it. You still have to put your nav light on and your hydraulics on, or cut on, and your reversers on, and your window heat and that kind of stuff. But anyways, played some gaming once again. Thanks for flying along. Planning 36 right. Don't know if that's what they're using, but that's what I'm using. The 36 right and center was in use, so I'm just picking one. I'm going to select our radio here to interphone, just in case you ever get a jump seater. You don't want them talking on COM 1. It's something we do sometimes there. Micah, welcome. Thanks for joining. We're just going to start our engines here, so we've been cleared to start by the ground crew. We'll go ahead and start right. The rear world, to hold it in the sim, you just click it. So anyways, right engine start appeared on the stat page, so we'll go ahead and click our clock a million times before it registers the time. There we go. We're looking for an N2 of 20% and an I2T below 120. So 20 and below 120. If either one of those numbers isn't correct and you add fuel, real world, the FADEC would automatically shut down the airplane. 20%. You notice the packs come online immediately. That's not real world. It's been addressed. So the packs, I mean, we're still starting the engine, so. Hope he doesn't push me into... Okay, I was going to say, it's going back quite a distance there. Are you using a headset? I'm just using my Razer headset. If it doesn't sound loud enough, I can turn it up. If it's too low, I can do that. Or if it's too loud, I can turn it down as well. And parking brake set. If you buy the CRJ from the Airsoft, would it be the exact same, what you just get the update later? To my knowledge, the update comes when the update comes out for everybody. So I have it on the Airsoft website, the starter cutter, by the way. But I have the Marketplace CRJ as well, so it should be for everybody. Yeah, sorry about that, man. I'm not a streamer, right? But maybe if you guys like it, I'll invest in a microphone. But I'm just doing it for fun, really. I can control my sick breathing.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass
It's
bin removed.
20%. We'll add that in there.
Ride is clear.
Mike, if you hear breathing in your flight deck, you got some mouth breathing in there. You gotta turn the intercom down. I'm just joking. The wind starts to increase, the breathing starts to increase. I'll try to mute while I have to cough. It's because I've heard Marketplace versions get update later, not sure about the CRJ. I can ask. To my knowledge, it's all at the same time, so I wouldn't know the answer to that one, to be honest with you. But we got a stable start there. Again, the starter cut is at the wrong N2. It should be 50, not 55. But anyways, we'll stop our clock. Set it back to ET. And the lower gauges were oil pressure. Once they've switched to fan vibration, you know the N1's between 2%. The engines are stabilized. That's a little indication the engines are stable. And we'll go APU, aft cargo, probes, and we'll check the rudder. It's full left, full right. Stat page, steering, parking brake, away we go. Charlotte traffic blue streak 5047, taxi from Echo 9 to runway 36 right. Charlotte. Micah says, gonna fly the CRJ a lot when the update comes. Gonna need to finish that flight at some point. Yeah, we got pretty far along until that accident happened. So, but yeah, for sure. It looks like there's some CF-17s parked over there. That's pretty cool. Isaac says, did you get waypoints past Ling? Oh, let me check for you here. Let me check current first where I'm going. And yeah, basically just via Charlie, so that can go away. Waypoints past Ling. I did, yeah. So it did choose a runway for me already, technically in its brain. But once I go put the actual runway in later, because I haven't plugged the runway at all. But once I plug in a runway, it should sort itself out. It's a pretty long taxi today, so we're gonna have to go all the way down to 36 right down there. I've adjusted my rudders so they're a little bit more, or a little less sensitive. And we're going to kick up the speed a little bit, we'll get going. So it should just be via Charlie all the way down. Actually, I'm gonna hold short of 2-3. I don't see if that tower guy is still online. Approach. He's offline, so I'll keep going. Charlotte traffic. It's Blue Streak 5047 crossing runway 23 at Charlie. Charlotte. Can't really see much in that flight deck, so we'll cheat with a beautiful outside view. Good old flight simulation. Don't hear me on CTAF. Let me. Oh, you know what? That's because I'm doing classic VATSIM 22.8 stuff. Let me go and get CTAF up and running for you. And I always forget the VATSIM codes of what to dot wall up or whatever, but I'm gonna hope and pray that it's 18.1. And I'll just keep doing radio checks till I get someone. And I kind of hate when VATSIM's uncontrolled. It really there's really no point to it. Isaac says, what's the howling noise that comes and goes? I don't know. There shouldn't be any howling noise. Oh, I can try that C dot, or the dot CTAF. Yeah, my guess is correct. 18.1. Awesome. Well, we're on the straightaway. Let's go and get our before takeoff stuff ready to go. Oh, my flap stayed in the wrong position there. Let's go ahead and do a flap 8. Get the autocross flow to manual. Go ahead and check it. Restart our flight controls. Go full left. Neutral, full right. Neutral, these flight controls are way too quick. They do not react that quickly. Okay, now the performance doesn't give us a flex temp. We're usually in the 40s, so I'll go ahead and put 45 in there. It's not allowed because it's bugged, so disregard that statement. So we'll use the full N1 thrust there. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, I got it up and running now. Departure-wise, it's your pretty much standard departure. Obviously, we would have briefed this.
Charlotte traffic, Charlotte traffic, Air Canada 545, crossing runway 23 on Charlotte.
Runway heading, and a bit of a turn, assigned by ATC. We're the only ones here. If you guys want to let me know what the mic volume is, though, Micah mentioned it's a bit loud or something, or with the breathing, I can turn the mic down or turn the sim up or whatever you want me to do as well. It should be on. So whatever you want. Dave, I appreciate that. Simple takeoff. Is there a reason you you do rudder check after start and then flight controls during taxi? I know after the start, the reason we do the rudder there is because the steering is off. So if we were doing the taxi, to turn the steering off, do the rudder in mid-taxi. So that's why we do that. I can't answer why. That's just my company's way. There's probably a reason for it. It might be to it might be a thing where you get de-iced and then you're on your way to the runway. Check the flight controls after the de-icing kind of stuff. Couldn't really answer that one for you, so that's just a pure guess. Sounds are good? Perfect. So we're short of the runway here. And we're, well, big beam in my face. We're clear on the right. Go to this guy. Clear on the left. There's flight sim gaming coming, so I'll kind of line up and wait for a couple seconds here. Charlotte traffic, Blue Streak 5047 line up, runway 36 right on the what departure is this thing called again? Critter 6, Arnett Fields. I haven't done manual radio calls in a while. Anyways, strobe lights can go on. Give the flight attendants a call up that we're going. We'd say we've been cleared for takeoff, so we'll go ahead and do the center landing light during the day. Don't need all three. Messages are confirmed and are acceptable, so we'll go ahead and box the messages so they go away. Anything else pops up, we know about it because the messages will appear. Love the Boris sounds. Three 6 right is verified. Whoop. There you go. Anyways, press the toggle button, get TOTO with the takeoff config OK at the top there, and let's get going. So we're going to set roughly 70 to 75% N1, and once it's stable, we'll select toga thrust. It takes quite a while. My phone call going. It takes quite a while for the thrust to stabilize, but there we are. So where thrust is setting, it takes kind of a bit too long, but thrust set there. If you're wondering why my phone alarm is a phone call ringtone, it's because it's because I need to wake up in case I get called at 3 a.m. to go to work. So that's why it's that. It looks like we have a bit of wind from the left, so we'll put a little left aileron input and a V1 rotate. Set a pressure, let the airplane come up. And we're going to keep on pitching right up to the flight directors. Gear up. Speed mode. I'm going to go heading mode initially because it doesn't work in the current build, so I'll go heading, but I should be able to go nav, but it will be fixed later. There's the 400 feet, so nav mode. And we're going to hand fly this one a little bit. There's the right turn 025. I'll show you guys a cool feature called the sync mode. We use it real world, so we're above our level or our acceleration height there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly pitch the nose down a little bit. Notice my speed's coming up. I'm going to press the sync button. Notice the climb went to 177 and my flight director synced. Let's go flap 1. Alright, so I'm going to basically just fly it, and once I get to the VT speed there, I'm going to start pitching up a little bit, just a little bit more, and I'm going to press sync. Boom, now we're climbed 200. So that's how you can do it, go flap 0. So that's the sync button, it works well. We use it real world every time for hand flying. Let's go ahead and engage autopilot, we'll go climb 250. And it is mappable in Microsoft Flight Sim. I think it's called something something sync. So anyways, we're climbing 250. Up to 8,000 is clear. We'll go direct GDIN. And we're already in FMS, so we'll confirm and execute that. Airplane should turn on its way. And we're on the way. So I'll go back to the comments here in a second. Got phone calls going like crazy. Anyways, we're doing our after takeoff, so we'll go climb thrust on that guy. Fuel can get automatically cross-flowed, reverse get thrown off. And there's an alts cap. We're going to say we're cleared above that, so let's keep it going up. 250. Gonna go all the way up to 37,000. Oh, my autopilot panel's a bit too sensitive there. 37. There we go. Let me catch up here with the chat.
Charlotte traffic, kind of 545.
Chat says, sounds good, Isaac. How do you do the chime in the cabin? It is this button right here, a chime button. Doesn't, you should be able to hear it faintly, but can't hear it, but that's how you do chime right there.
Charlotte traffic, American 11118.
Are you going to call right now? No, I'm just trying to delay my turn the phone call. Reset Jet says, question, can you tell, question is, can you nail 250 on the dot? Yeah, 100%. Here, I can go, you can, I mean, we're already at 250 now, but you can get as close as you like. It can be a bit of a game for you. We're climbing through 10,000, so we're going to do a 320 knot climb. We're going to get, not Airbus 320, but a 320 knot climb once we get above 10,000 here. Go ahead and silence that MDA, don't need that anymore. 10,000 feet, vertical speed 1,500. We're going to bug 320. While that's going up, 10,000, get the taxi light out. Verify the pressure is pressurizing. It's pretty smooth, belts can go auto. And our radio would be set to the emergency 121.5. And we just monitor COM2 to make sure that if anyone has a problem, we can relay that problem to them, or to the appropriate ATC services on COM2. So we're nicely accelerating. The reason I don't just scroll the knob up to climb 320 is because the airplane basically levels off, and ATC is going to start yelling at you of why are you leveling off. So we do a nice little vertical speed of 1,500 feet. That gets us nicely coming up. And as soon as I get to about 310 or so, I'm going to start nosing the airplane up with vertical speed. And then I'm going to click speed mode. So let's go ahead, 310. I'm going to start nosing the airplane up now. It's left about 25 a minute, something like that, just to stop it. And I'm going to click speed mode, climb 320. If I didn't nose up there...
Traffic, American 1118, 6 mile final, 36 right, departing traffic.
If I didn't nose up there, before clicking speed, the airplane would have said, you know, I'm at 320 and it's just going to pitch like crazy. And you can see we're doing 4,000 feet a minute at, with our climb thrust set there. So we are cruising away. This gets us just kind of further down the line on the flight plan. We only really do it for, you know, some people do if they're super late, that kind of thing. Doesn't break the airplane, 100% within limits. The only thing you got to verify is passing around 28,000 feet. Our Mach number, we're looking for 0.77. So as we hold 320, this Mach number is going to increase. You can see it increasing now. That's because our true airspeed is going up. So passing usually 20,000 feet, 320 knots will equal 77, and that's when we go ahead and click the Mach button in. If you climb at 280, the airplane should be above the 31s, and above 31,600, the airplane will automatically switch you from IAS to Mach. So you don't have to click it above 31,600 specifically, but because we're going to have 77 a lot lower than 31,600, I got to manually click it. If I don't click it, we're going to hold 320, and we're getting to this red line pretty soon. Alrighty, so pretty much coming up on it. We'll go transition on all three. Catch up with the comments here. Says thanks. Yeah, no worries, man. Simple takeoffs now. Just wait for yeah. On the meows on the guard frequency, that happens quite a bit. You have to really just kind of just painfully go through it. Calgary says climbing in vertical speed of mode. Yeah, 100% mode allowed. We don't have VNAV, so you can see right here. The NG has VNAV, but it's not authorized for climbing. So you can only use descent VNAV in the RJ if you have a VNAV on the NG. So vertical speed, 1,000,000% allowed to do it. Actually, most people, not in climbs, but most people in descents prefer vertical speed. I kind of bounce between them on descent. So if you program 320.77 in the VNAV page on my switch, that was my thought. I haven't tried it in the sim. I tried it in the real airplane, and the real airplane does not switch for you, even while passing 31.6. Because the problem is, it's not looking for the speed necessarily, it's more looking for the altitude. Once you pass 31,600, two things are going to happen. It's going to go Mach, and it's going to go half bank. So because you're going to be so much, you're going to be 0.77 so much lower than 31.6, it just can't possibly do it. You can program it in there, but you'll be at Mach 0.77 at 320 knots lower than 31.6. So it can't. It just technology in its brain can't do it under 31.6 automatically. David says, sorry, I missed that. You bounce between VS and what descent? Yeah, so I bounce between vertical speed and speed mode in our descents, or descent mode. I'll bounce between those two. So if I've been given a speed restriction and not an altitude restriction, I'll just go descend at, let's say I've been restricted to 210, I'll go descend 210. Now my speed's managed, and all I got to do is manage my descent rate with thrust and spoiler. So it kind of takes one piece out of the puzzle I got to worry about. Letter, welcome, hello, welcome to you as well. If you're new to the channel, guys, as well, please like and subscribe, and feel free to ask any questions. If I can't answer it, I'm sure other people in the chat can answer as well, but I should be able to get to all of them. It's time for a drink of water. And yeah, we're slowly climbing away. Let's check our Mach, actually. Mach 0.7, pretty much 6, so another 0.1 to go. Let's see how the back is doing. We're still at 23 degrees. That seems like the sweet spot for the CRJ. No one really complains at 23. How's the snowflake working compared to the versions we have? I hope it's better. I haven't even noticed it in this, so I'm gonna say it's probably the same, but I will bring it up. But I think it's been, I think the VNAV situation and getting LPV and all that kind of stuff is gonna be that's gonna be a whole other thing that they got to do. But I'm not sure, and I'm not 100% on that. So for all I know, it could be already fixed. Yeah, well, I'll hope you enjoy it, Letter. There's 7.7. If you're not watching, it goes quick. We'll go speed mode, and we're at climb 7.8. Let's go ahead and do 7.7. So now what's going to happen is the airplane's going to prioritize climbing at Mach 0.77 instead of climbing at 320 knots. So what you're going to see is 7.7 is going to start moving down, and 320 is going to start moving up into the reds. And notice that happened below 31,600, the magic RJ altitude, where it'll automatically switch to Mach for you. So if you're not careful and you leave it in speed IAS all the way to 31.6, thinking it's going to do it for you, you're going to be way in the red. Notice 320 is already in there, so you're going to be way in the red zone by the time you think it's going to automatically switch to Mach for you. But what's going to happen at 31.6, because we already changed to Mach, it's going to display our half bank. So at 31,600, it switches to Mach, and it displays half bank. You can manually click half bank, which is right here. What that does, it just limits the bank from 30 degrees to half of it, so 15. Adam says, what do you usually have a throttle set up for landing? Because idle, it loses too much speed. Yeah, I mean, idle obviously won't work, because idle thrust means you're going to be your speed's going to start dropping. So the way I like to explain landing, this is what I used with my rural students a long time ago, was picture yourself on a highway, and hopefully you drive, but picture yourself on a highway, and it's just level, and you're trying to hold 100 miles, 100 kilometers an hour, whatever. You're trying to hold a certain speed. You're going to need a certain amount of gas in there to hold a certain speed, right? Or else the friction of the tires and drag and everything's going to start slowing you down. So you need to hold a certain amount of gas in there. If a hill comes up, you got to go up a hill. To maintain 100 miles an hour in that uphill, you have to add more gas. Vice versa, going downhill, if you're going to start going downhill, you got to take your foot off the gas, maybe even brake in a car. So in the airplane world, we don't have brakes, but if we have to, on a landing, if we have to adjust our vertical path in a climb, we add a little bit of thrust first, and then you can add a little bit of climb, because that thrust allows you to hold your speed in that nose up. It'll hold your approach speed nose up if you add the right amount. And then vice versa for descent, you take out a little bit of thrust, it allows you to go back down. So for landing, we're not really at idle until the last 10 feet, really. You're kind of bouncing around the 58 to 66 and 1 mark, somewhere anywhere in there, depending on winds and all sorts of stuff. So 57 to, 60, 65 actually, I'll say. I'll kind of clean it up. 60, 65 and 1 should be pretty good for you. But you'll be moving it. It's called walking. You'll be walking the throttles up and down as needed. Not like this, but, as needed to maintain the appropriate descent angle and speed. So here we go to 31,600. You're going to notice half bank is going to appear. There it is. Now we're limited to half our bank, so people, if we're walking, won't topple over on the in the aisle. in a big steep bank. So I assume it's common to be on speed mode in descent and adjust the rate based on. So when we start our descents, if we're not using VNAV, which most of our planes don't have VNAV, but if we're starting our descent, we're usually in vertical speed because we want idle thrust in our descent, not landing. Don't get confused with that, but idle thrust in our descent at 3,000 feet a minute, and that'll roughly hold 290 knots. Then once we get a bit lower and start having some more speed restrictions, then we'll have speed mode. Or you don't even have to, you can use vertical speed the whole way, but I like to have speed mode come in. DC Center, contact 133-725, 133-725.
Richmond County Airport.
So if you want to know how to check in before I do this, a nice way to check into a center is call the center out, DC Center, whatever you want, or just center. Call sign, Blue Streak 5047. Passing flight level and going, we're going to. Don't use the word 4, use climbing, descending. So flight level 330, climbing 370. Replace the 4 in the number there, because some people say 33, 437. Replace the 4, because that's a number as well, and put climbing or descending. So let's go ahead and check on with this guy. Nice and slick. DC Center, Blue Streak 5047, flight level 330, climbing 370. Nice, simple, quick, easy. Should know where we are as a radar. And let's see if he gets back to us.
125, squawk 7007, maintain VFR, Fayetteville, altimeter
definitely not for me.
3010.
Matthew says, hello, first time viewer. Matthew, welcome. Sorry, I got to your comment a bit late there. If you're new,
good speed 125, resuming negation.
Please like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to ask any questions. Captain Jack, my friend, welcome.
United 751, contact Jacksonville Center 135.902.
Adam says thank you because I was wondering when you hit idle speed. Yeah, idle thrust
good speed 125,
usually happens around the
10
mark. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 is usually I try to plan to be idle by there.
Walker 1108, climb maintain, follow 330.
Simple thing is, are you in half bank on single engine approaches with autopilot? No. We are on half bank on a departure of a V1 cut, and then we turn it off after everything's kind of squared away. We're a little bit higher, but not an approach. Dash says, yep, just started doing the because for...
7583 runway 1.
Sorry, when I get to that in a second, I'm going to call up ATC to get checked on here.
1 Juliet, Hospital 4758.
Center Blue Streak 5047, flight level 340, climbing 370.
Blue Streak 5047, Wash, good evening, climb maintain, flight level 370, nuclear direct Oxman.
370 direct Oxman, Jet Blue Streak 5047. Sorry, I did go quick in there because I'm never going to get a word in. So Oxman.
Center Lower Canada 545, passing flight level 290.
There it is. Execute that. Already nabbing over. Cleared up to 37. We're already doing that.
Wash, good evening, climb maintain, file 390, and you are clear direct Oxman.
Yep, just started doing that because... Oh, 4 and 4, yeah, same pronunciation, exactly, Dash, yeah. So try to put climbing and descending in there. It might take a couple seconds,
direct Oxman, climb maintain, flight level 390.
There's Flight Sim Gavin, he just got his direct Oxman behind me there as well. Adam says, your videos are how I learned to fly the CRJ. Perfect, that's awesome. And there's plenty of other good videos as well, but if these ones are helping, then that's what I like to hear. That's why I make them. So the CRJ is doing some stuff. I'm just going to let it do its little LNAV back and forth here. It's just trying to get right on that track line. So it has an 88 knot wind as well pushing it. A little note about the CRJ is obviously the heading is this arrow here. We're heading north. And I also get it here as well. But we also get this green dot, and the green dot is where our track is. So we're pointed this way, but we're going that way. Track is along the ground. So if I go here...
Intercept 6145, I don't have an 8 is up in Richmond, but winds are 130 good visibility, clear skies, altimeter is 3011.
3637.
34, runway 2.
Thank you for the meter. I have runway
letter says Edmonton or Calgary. I can't
shuttle,
decide.
6145, Roger. Expect runway 34, and did you have an approach picked out there?
You know what you should do? A fun RJ flight, and it happens.
I have the ILS selected,
Edmonton to Calgary. It is one of the quickest flights you'll do. And things happen quick, so it's quite a fun one. But go to Calgary. Calgary's a pretty sweet airport. Nice long runways. David says, how soon prior to descent speed restriction should we dial the speed back in speed mode? Curious, what would you use to calculate descent rate? I'm only in the little... so yeah, so that's a pretty loaded question.
There's 126 Bravo here.
I'm going to lower V-pilot. It's a little loud.
Right, which type aircraft, and what was that identifier for that
A
destination?
little bit lower.
We're going to be a
That's probably better. So descent rate calculation is Alt Cap, leveling off at 37. I'll get to that question as soon as I do my level off, and we'll do our fuel check as well. So let me go ahead and bring my flight plan up. And for all you guys wondering what RPM or what N1, sorry, to cruise at, as soon as we get here, we're going at 0.76 today, so I'll dial in 76. I'm going to decelerate into 76. And then once I get there, I'm going to put my power at around 1800 fuel flow wise, and that should maintain us at our speed. It doesn't happen all the time, but 1800 is a nice benchmark, and then from there you can vary it. And what we're trying to do is eliminate that decelerating trend. So we're in the bucket. Let's go ahead and add our thrust in here, and we're looking for 1800, somewhere in the ballpark.
126 Bravo,
pretty close.
15 miles south of Philly.
Notice we have a very slight acceleration. So we'll just back the throttle off by just pressure, really.
Yes, 3011.
And we're trying to eliminate that very small acceleration. That's pretty good. So we'll watch that as it goes. So, top of climb wise, and I'll get to that question, sorry about that. Top of climb, bring up the window. We're supposed to be
Boston and New York are closed. Radar
22 minutes.
Did
it in 18, so we're ahead of schedule. Planned is 7,300. We're at 82, so we're about 1,000 pounds almost over planned, with a minimum of 6,400 pounds. So we're about 2,000, well, about 1,800 pounds above minimum fuel. So we had to go to our alternates. So we're way good on fuel. And the RVSM 37, 37, 37. The RVSM check is good as well.
47 descent approach discussion, maintain level 290.
So,
290,
let me get to that question real quick. So, to calculate,
reset transponder squawk 4155.
Squawk 4155, Street 5547.
Oh, he's
18, rally
oh, that almost got me. He's 5547. He should tell me that there's a similar call sign on board.
Delta 18, thanks. And did you set for 5 left or 5 right?
Descent rate, easiest way to do it. 1 in the RJ. You have it right here. So, right now, CGOG at 8,000 requires 500 feet per minute. Tells you right there. But another way you can do it is, especially if you're on that glide slope type scenario, you take your ground speed, you cut this number in half, it's about 230. And then you add a 0. So if I wanted a 3-degree descent right now from this altitude, take ground speed, cut in half, 230, add a 0, 2,300 feet per minute would be a 3-degree glide slope from this altitude, from this speed.
Walker 1108.
And when to calculate when to start descending, you can do the classic altitude times 3. So take 37,000, take 37 times 3. So 37, if I'm going all the way down to the ground. So let's say I'm going to 5,000 feet. I'll take 37 minus 5, that's 32. So 32 times 3 gives me 96 miles. So from 96 miles away at 2,300 feet per minute will give me 3 degrees down to 5,000 feet. We don't even have to do that math. You can do it if you want to check the system, but real world, our VNAV will have, our advisory VNAV, sorry, will have a number displayed. The only way to find that number is actually in this page, the direct to intercept button. And that is right here. So currently all these restrictions are requiring 500 a minute, so we're well good. I'll talk about descending once we get a little bit further on the route and see how we do it. Ladder says, I'm doing a long haul on a Max. Nice. A long haul on a Max, that doesn't sound fun at all. It'd be squished. Captain Jack, sorry I couldn't break away to fly with you. Wife and we're watching our shows. Great information. Oh, put the gear by accident. Hit my switch on my yoke. Great information that you're sharing. Yeah, thanks, man. No worries. As long as you can watch and as long as you tuned in, that's all. It means the world to me. Isaac, yeah, Isaac's replying to there. Anyways, so that's that. Now it's a bit quieter, so I can talk about. I think Davis also said. What did Sarah say here? YouTube being annoying. Anyways, hey Curious, what would you use to calculate descent rate? I'm only okay. So I covered that question. Not Davis. Sorry about that. Davis asked, how soon prior to descent speed restriction on a star? So how soon prior to a descent speed restriction? Give you an example on that. Usually, what we do is let's pretend I was in my descent or I was just before my descent, and this number here, it's no icing conditions, which is the conditions outside. I'll talk about icing in a second, but it's no icing conditions.
Speedbird 1, Washington.
We want that number to be roughly 2,800 feet a minute, and what we're going to do is we're going to go vertical speed. Once it hits 2,800, we're going to go vertical speed and go down at 3,000 feet per minute, idle thrust 290. Then, obviously, at 10,000 feet, we have a speed restriction of 250. So because we went down steeper than 28 when it said I went at 3,000 instead of 28, and I'll show you in the descent when we do it. We're going to be ahead of schedule in the descent, which allows me slowdown time. I built in, if I start my descent a little earlier than what it says, I built in slowdown time. And so once I'm 2,000 feet away from a targeted altitude, in this case 10,000 feet is 250, so once I'm 12,000 feet, I'm going to select vertical speed of 1,200 a minute at idle thrust and bug 250. Usually every mile, every mile flown in the CRJ, again, it's a rule of thumb, roughly say 10 knots you're going to lose at idle thrust level. Sorry, in a descent, around 1,000 feet a minute or so. It's kind of a little rule of thumb I use, so you can kind of keep that in your back pocket, but it's a lot of just using this kind of math. You can choose to get down quicker and slow down when level. You can choose to slow down high and then descend at a slower speed. What we usually do is we rocket ship down at 290, 3,000 a minute, build some slowdown time, slow down, and then do the rest of the restrictions. And then when in doubt, you can always use the spoiler. The spoiler's there as a tool, not a whole thing. I know in the flight sim community it's kind of looked frowned upon if you used it. It's not a thing in real life. You need it, use it. Hope that helps. You'll see the descent as well, how I plan this out shortly. Ladder says, I've done 7 hours, Edmonton, H and L. I have no idea what that is. Narita, maybe? Some are Japanese, I'm not sure. Almost hit my gear button again. Adam says, when I put Speedbug onto descent, sometimes it drops to 8-degree descent. Fast, not smooth. Yeah, so usually what we do is vertical speed in our descent, because if you go speed mode 7.6 idle thrust, it might just start rocket shipping down. So usually we do vertical speed of 3,000. We've also changed. We've also changed in the new one how fast the airplane will react to an autopilot. So when you change vertical speed, it's not going to pitch up violently. It's real world. It's max 3 degrees per second. The autopilot will do, and that's what it's been changed to as well.
You're clear direct Oceana, descent and power discretion, maintain 1,000.
Direct Oceana, our discretion, down to 1,000, convoy 2.
Thank you guys for all watching as well. Please hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe as well. And we're about to start doing some descent planning shortly. Not really just quite yet, but we have about, so there's another bug that I've reported as well, is this should give our estimated distance and ETE and fuel remaining, all that kind of stuff. We don't have that until I put an approach in, which is not correct, but we can go to the progress page. And oh, it doesn't even give me a fuel prediction. That's interesting. It usually gives you at least a fuel prediction there in the sim as well.
Delta 1018, wind calm, runway 5 right.
Anyways, probably going to be, we're at 7,800. This is another way you can do it. We're at basically 8,000 pounds. We're burning 3,000 pounds per hour. And we don't have a time, but our flight plan says, let's see, we're gone 25 minutes. The flight plan estimated time en route is 1 hour and 25 minutes. So we have an hour left in our flight. We're burning 3,000 feet per minute per hour. Sorry, let me go back up. We have an hour left in the flight. We're burning 3,000 pounds per hour. So in 1 hour, when we get closer to Toronto, we'll be 3,000 pounds off of that number. So 7, 6, 5, 4,800 pounds roughly is what fuel we're going to have in Toronto. That's if that doesn't work. It should tell us there, but that's a quick little cheat way you can do it.
If you want it, you can take a look at it.
Kind of using all the numbers and resources to form an answer.
Blue Jay and the Chesla 6 if you want to take a look and let me know.
Flight Sim Gaming, if you're still watching, appreciate you flying me,
we'll
man.
take a look and we'll let you know.
If you need me to go faster or slower, let me know. We can go up to a max of 0.82 at 37, so you'll let me know.
Level 400.
If Take the lever up to the CRJ in
Blue
real life.
Street 5547, descend via the Cap 3 arrival.
The CRJ does have new avionics. If you have the NG variant, that's the newest, that's the next gen. So if you have the NG, a little bit of thrust for our speed there. If you have the NG, that's the next gen. No auto throttle still because
Blue
it'll be
Street 5547, did you say Richmond?
Blue Street 5547, descend via the Cap
the NG
3
does
arrival,
have, if you have it spec'd out with features, does have the VNAV, a couple of VNAV, it flies the VNAV descents, doesn't do climbs though.
Blue Street 5547, descend via the Cap 3 arrival.
It also does,
for landing south.
It also does LPV, as long as you have the WASP GPS equipped with it. So the RJ, the new ones, the NG, they're quite good. They're just missing really the auto throttle, really. It's actually kind of fun to have to manually use the throttle and actually plan your descents out a little bit more than just clicking manage descent and let the thing do what it wants. Takes a bit more, I think takes a bit more planning and a little bit more skill in there to do it, especially when it's icing conditions. So I mentioned on the descent, when it's icing condition or when it's non-icing, we start down, when it says 2800 a minute, we start down at 3. In icing conditions, we'll start down when it says 26 at 3, because with the wing anti-ice on, even at idle thrust, the N2 and the engines are going to have to actually increase thrust to provide bleed air to the wings. If they're at idle, they cannot provide enough air to get to the wing. So once you turn the wing anti-ice, especially the engine and wing together, the engine thrust increases significantly, and it's pretty hard to slow the airplane down at that point. So we start a little earlier. I says, when do you start planning everything if you're relatively long cruise? Usually 40 minutes to the destination. So we have an hour left, so about 20 minutes. I'll put a timer on here. There we go. Usually 40 minutes is enough. It doesn't really take too long. My descent planning or approach planning is weather weights plates. So get the weather, check the what kind of weather you're going to be landing in, what runway you're going to use, what approach is in use. Once you have that data, get your weight, your landing weight. So 0 fuel weight plus landing fuel equals landing weight. Prediction, of course. That landing weight will get you your V-speed, will get you your V2 go-around in case you have to go on a go-around and you need an engine out, so you'll have that speed. And your VT, your VFTO, so if you have to go around, you have a new VT speed because you're at a lighter weight, right? So all that stuff you calculate for takeoff has to be calculated for a go-around at a lighter weight. It also will provide you with the runway used, which the new one does have a feature for. You'll have a runway calculation on the new one, new RJ coming out. So that's kind of what the weight gives you.
Yeah, it looks like I was trying to get a hold of you there. You climbed up on the 35.
Aside from that being under max landing weight and all that other stuff.
350 now.
So weather weights, that's been done, and then plates is my last. So I'll get the approach plate. I'll plug in the localizer frequency. I'll plug in the HCP numbers. So all that stuff for the runway we did on the takeoff.
Okay, yeah, maintain
I'll go ahead and plug the NVA, and then lastly I'll go ahead and plug the approach into the FMS. Approach is usually last for us. Daniel says, hey, it's Juno from the Discord. Are you doing another leg after this? Probably not. I am reserved tomorrow at 8 a.m., so I want to get some sleep at least a little bit, so I'll probably land and call it a night there, unfortunately. But we are going to be passing, let's see what airports. You may be able to start from an airport. And
Air Shuttle 6145, heading 110.
Maybe take off.
Right, 110.
Blue Street 5047, contact Cleveland Center 119.87.
1987, Blue Street 5047. 1987. That's wrong. Nope, still wrong. 1987. 5. Yeah, alright. Rear one doesn't want the 5. So I don't even know who he told me to contact, so I'm just gonna say center. And I'll probably say it. Center's Blue Street 5047, flight level 370. Probably Cleveland.
47, Cleveland Center.
Yeah. So anyways, if you want to start maybe from one of these, maybe KRVL, I have no idea what airport that is, but you might be able to kind of get up and running and get over to Toronto in that time. But yeah, even Buffalo, I mean Buffalo's like a 10-minute flight from Toronto, but. And something that I hear sometimes as well, even railroad flying, is people say with you. It's kind of a blanket statement. If I'm talking on the frequency, they know I'm with them. So try to get rid of the with yous. Just center, Blue Streak 5047, whatever your call sign is. Flight level, blah, 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 blah. Captain Jack says, hey buddy, I'm doing Red Deer to Yellowknife tomorrow in my stream in the Buffalo Airways 37. That's pretty cool. Hope you may be able to join. Yeah, so I should be off tomorrow. Or not I'm off, I'm reserved. But if I don't get called, for sure, I'll probably take maybe me and Simple or me and Isaac or somebody can do the share cockpit in 37 do it with you. That'd be pretty sweet.
Delta 474 Cleveland Center, position altitude.
I'm surprised I heard my call sign. I'm not used to hearing blue streaks. Gonna close some of my million tabs I got open. File Explorer, all sorts of stuff. Hopefully the stream is good for you guys as well. It's not choppy, everything's going well. No, I'll say it, this is not the beta. Before you ask about the cabin. This is the Boris Sounds, however. We do have that running currently. Yeah, Isaac, I wish CRJ did have share cockpit. That'd be awesome. Flush the toilet? Alright, let me go back there. The RJ has two. There's one up there. The 900 at least has one up there. And one way back here. I fit, personally, better in the aft lav because it's a little higher. The front lav, I'm doing quite the acrobatic act to get in there and stay in there. Well, they didn't put their bathroom there. They put their bathroom here. So it's been, what, it's been 5 minutes? For the sake of the stream and explaining, I'll probably start my descent planning now. Let's go ahead and reset that clock again. The clock should be both set to GPS time and ET. There we go. So let's go ahead and start descent planning. We'll get an ATIS if it's even available for us. It is not. So either they went offline, let me go check that, or I'm just not in range. Toronto went offline. Amazing. I started this with ATC both online, all online. Unfortunately, they have gone off. So we'll just make it up as we go. Let's check the, I'll check on Metard then. We can actually use Navigraph for that. Why not? Weather. So the wind is 190 at 4, 15 mile, broken 55. I assume they're using the 2.3s in that case. The 1.5s are never in use. Yeah, 2.4s and 2.3s. I'll plan 2.4 left. That's where the RJ likes to go. 2.3 is unnecessary. It's really too big for us. David says, bit of a softball question, but is the beta night and day from the, yeah, 100%. The beta is like, I'm not, no, yeah, night day is pretty good way of saying it. A lot of welcome features.
545, level 390.
Captain Jack says I'm flying from Denver to Mayford. I don't know if I pronounced it right, Medford. Or in May. Was hoping for another CRJ, but it looks like Max is scheduled. Okay, yeah, no worries, man. You got on there eventually. Probably want to be in a Max anyway, it's probably more comfortable. It just says Toronto is the most unreliable, unpredictable one. I once started a flight when I saw they hopped on 10 minutes ago, and I was thinking logged off. Yeah, I always just turn off.
Maintain flight level 310.
Cross Bucko, maintain flight level 310.
Anyways, we're going to plan the 2-4 left approach. So weather, you can see right here. This is the first part of the approach setup. Weather, weights, plates is my little thing. Which I think a training captain told me that a while ago. Actually, I just kind of took it. So weather is the first thing. We know we're using the 2-4 left. It's going to be the visual backed up with the ILS because it's 15-mile vis, high cloud, -1. So it's below 0. We will need to temperature correct our MEMDA. That's not modeled in the sim, so I'm not going to temperature correct it. But anytime it's below 0 in Canada, the states have recently changed the rules, but in Canada, we have to do this thing called a temperature correction. So because there's altimeter error, the colder it gets, the different air densities will mess the altimeter. So when we're flying and approaching very cold temperatures, we're actually lower than we would in a regular kind of standard temperature day. So we'd have to add these corrections to it. It's usually 20 feet when it's 0 degrees like that, for the MDA at least. But either way, we would have to do it. In the sim, I'm going to bypass that. The altimeter is 30 003. So we'll go ahead and plug this in the standby. The RVSM has already been checked, and that does nothing for the autopilot, so we'll have that there for later. And yeah, that's the weather part. We'll do the weights part, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. Let's go to our progress. Still does not have a landing fuel, but we kind of calculated one. Earlier, as I said, there was an hour left in the flight. We're doing 1,500 or 3,000 an hour basically. So we'll add some fudge factor. We'll call it, I think we called it 48. So we'll call it 4,500 on the landing just for a little extra fudge. So 4,500 pounds plus 64,000 pounds. So 4 plus 4 is 8.
56 or 70, just start your descent.
We'll call it 70. We'll call it 71,000 pound landing. And obviously we can't do really much with it because in real we'd have a speed card and we have A cars. We'd say, we'd tell our A cars, hey, we're going to be landing this runway, this weather, this weight, and it would spit out all the numbers for us. But here we're just going to click set all and it'll do it. And the new one will have a landing calculator and all that kind of stuff. So the weight's been calculated. We're running the max landing weight of 75,100 pounds for the CRJ-900. And our speeds have been entered, I hope. You can see our VT speed is incorrect. 234 is insane. Let's go ahead and fix that up. Actually, it won't let me do it from this side. We'll go ahead and do it on this side. That's just again, another simulator bug. So usually it's around the 197 kind of zone. Should verify these have been set. V2 is 149. Yeah, it's 148 on the EFB. V1 should be blanked out, but that doesn't work. VR should be blanked out. All right, we'll leave that there. So weather weights has been done. Let's catch up with the chat here a little bit. Isaac responding there. He says, usually I get contact me 500 feet above the runaround approach. Yeah. Is LNAV VNAV approaches done commonly IRL? Have never done it because we are not equipped for it. So the CRJ, we either do LPV or we do LNAV only. I've never even seen an LNAV VNAV approach. We do LPV if it's the NG variant of the CRJ, and if it's not the NG, it means we have no VNAV, which means we're doing the LNAV only approach.
9536 Delta, you're clear direct to the Metro Airport.
An RJ land at least. Daniel says, would you say the VNAV button option is cheating? So to say it is an option IRL? Yes, it is an option in real life. It's not cheating. It actually, I think, works. It's actually, I think, more annoying to use real world and in the sim because it's easier to control my speed when I'm doing it in the CRJ. If the VNAV had an auto throttle equipped with it and it can actually use the speed logic a little bit, it'd be better. But it's definitely not cheating. It's could be easier, could be harder. But real life, if you get an NG, which most operators have, and most operators have the VNAV equipped NGs, then you got it. It's not a game, right? It's a sim, right? So you're not cheating. You just fly the airplane the way it's designed to be flown. That's at least my take on it. Anyways, weather weights has been done. Let's do plates. So let's grab up the ILS 24 left. I can already tell you that the before even grabbing the chart, it's 1195 for the ILS. Don't ask why I know that. Plug that in there, and we'll go verify my work. Anytime you do anything from memory, go back and verify your work. So we'll click CYYZ.
Southwest 4451 radar contact lost.
24 left. Pin that. 11195, set left and right. That's already been set. Our MDA is 750. We'll go over here and go MDA. It's at 1750. Let's go ahead and basically knock off 1,000 feet. Now we would, again, add the temperature correction. We're not going to do that today in the sim. But it would basically become 770 instead of 750 with the added temperature correction. Go ahead and check a look at our descent real quick. We're requiring 900 in a minute currently, way above schedule. We're waiting until that says 2,800 a minute.
Center Skyhawk 905.
I always wondered on VATSIM, at least, what do you want ATC?
We'd like to request the
what do you do when ATC say radar contact lost?
If possible.
Usually you can just cycle the transponder.
Plan ILS 21
and
left.
If that still doesn't work,
Victor,
then
altimeter 3002.
Radar contact lost. I mean, you can continue on to your destination. You've already actually been cleared. In your ATC clearance, when you get that PDC or that IFR clearance, they'll say cleared to, in this case, that cleared to Toronto via this departure, this route. So you've already been cleared for that route, so you can just keep on going. And they'd have to get people out of your way. In a Cessna-wise, you can just, find a clear patch of sky, go VFR and get on the ATC, but it doesn't quite work that way.
Boston Center is offline, radar terminated.
That's a good question. I haven't even thought
Over
of
to
that
the
in a long
dark
time.
side, Delta 474. See ya!
Yeah, that's how I would approach it at least. Someone says, do the G1000-172s at BFC have WAS? I believe they do now, yes. Plus, is most likely logged off VATSIM.
Offline, radar service
Yeah.
terminated, frequency change approved.
Might have been for me, I was talking. Was the last call for Blue Street 5047?
For FedEx 1600.
Okay, way off. I just hear silence. I'm like, it's probably me. Mo says, hey, welcome, Mo. Welcome. Anyway, let's get the rest of this approach plugged in. So we got the ILS freak, we got the MDA. It's going to set our HCP up. This is our HUD control panel once again. Make sure you guys can see this roughly. That's pretty good. So we got a length, to the elevation first. We got an elevation of 547 with a take or a landing distance available, an LDA, landing distance available of, the TLR would give us this. This is going to give us a full length, including if there's any display thresholds and stuff. So I'm just going to put a 9,000 into the sim, but our landing ACARS message would give us the correct length, and it's a 3-degree slope. So that's all been plugged in. So you saw we got the weather, gave us the approach, we got the weight, which gave us our V speed, or basically our VREF, sorry, and our V2 go around, and our VFTO. And if we're under max landing weight, it'll also give us how much runway you're going to take up. After that, we've got our plate. So we've got the 24 left plate, plugged in the MDA, plugged in the ILS frequency, plugged in the HEP numbers, and the last thing is FMS. That's kind of our last thing we do. Departure, arrival. Next page, ILS 24 left, do not press execute. Legs page. We're still direct Oxman. We'll bring that guy up, and we'll kind of put Oxman on Oxman to tidy it up a little bit. Let's bring this chart out here. Doing the link 3 to 24 left. And I'll bring this a bit more. Hopefully you can see it there. Anyways, we're coming via Oxman. What was he? Oxman. So we got Oxman, Tim Mills. Always have an eye on your speed as well while you're doing this, especially single pilot. Maypal, then Ling, next page, is youth with a restriction at 250 knots, below 13, above 11. So this is an interesting one. I'll tell you how we're going to descend for that later on. Because now we're not slowing for 250 at 10, we're slowing for 250 at this waypoint. Bidpost 210-8000, Verco, Mayrod, Denki, next page, Davnal, Dunnell, vector for the ILS 24 left. Starting at Lisdu at 3,000 and above. QRX of 1970, which would have been temperature corrected, usually about 21, depending on the temperature. Yeah, we'd have to have temperature correction to that as well. But for today, we're leaving it. Runway 24 left, a ref of 139. I think it's a bit high for our weight, so I'm going to call it 135, just from the memory banks.
We are 20 miles.
Then missed approach is heading of 237. Where am I heading?
974 Cleveland.
And then it's IDP 1.5, then a left-hand turn. Heading 159 to 3,000 feet. Direct to Petvo on the radial of 189. You can see 189's there. Holding at Petvo, 205 knots. Slash 3,000. That's all been confirmed. We'll execute that. The approach setup is complete. And we can go ahead.
At 1295 Cleveland Center, you're cleared to the Houston Airport via the Zappa 5 departure.
8898, thanks man. I'll go and put that in here.
Climb via the SID, departure on this frequency.
Cool. And that should be primary. There we go. If you ever have to use Cat 3,
Clear via the
you would do this. Oh, keep messing up. Cat 3 and Cat 2 both use the A3 mode. And once you've captured the localizer, the 900 will automatically bring this guy up to this guy. Once you've pressed enter, actually, let's see if I press enter. See if it does it. No, it won't even do it because we're too high. We're not even set up. But you press enter, it would arm A3 over here, and then capture the loc. And at a certain altitude, the A3 will boom over to the other side, and now you're on a Cat 3, and the HUD completely changes symbology to give you Cat 3 symbology. So, anyways, we'll go back to VMC. So So that's looking good. Approach brief-wise, we're doing the link 3 arrival and the 2-4 left. We'll follow basically we've already looked through all the waypoints, so we kind of have an idea of where we're going. So we'll say the link 3 as briefed, then we'll follow the restrictions. Basically leaves us for a left-hand downwind of the open star, vectored in for 2-4 left, and I'll be giving myself vectors unfortunately tonight. That's going to be a visual approach backed up by the ILS on a runway 24 left, page 11-7, effective 20th of February. Final the Local Freaks 11195, it's set left and right. Final approach push of 237. In the CRJ and the sim, it seems like the approach course never sets itself correctly. Unfortunately, there's no way of setting it unless you go to green needles, but then if I go green, it changes from FMS2, and it kind of gets all messy. In real world, it's pretty much on the ball every time, so we'll watch out for that. It might have a different course when I switch to green needle ILS, so we'll watch out for that. Glide path check here at 1970, our MDA 770 set right, and then the other person had their 770 set on the left side. Actually, it should be 750. I did the temperature correction by, there we go, 750 set right. MSA is 3,100 feet. The MSA, if you guys don't know, is the minimum sector altitude. So basically, if you lose all situational awareness, radios, transponder, blind outside, you lost everything. Nighttime, it's the worst situation. If you're at 3,100 feet, north, basically, pretty much west to south almost, of the Toronto VOR, at 3,100 feet, you're guaranteed clearance, obstacle clearance about 1,000 feet below you. So that gives you clearance. And then if you're in this quadrant here in the southwest, the southwest, you can be at 2,800 with 1,000 feet clearance. You might as well just stay at 31. Why not? And if you don't know the range, this is based on 25 miles, unless it's stated otherwise. But 25 miles is the default range. So if you're within 25 miles of the Toronto VOR in this case, and you happen to lose everything, just go up or go down to 3,100 feet if you're ever in a panic and you don't want to hit anything. So that's what that's there for. Canada also gives you 100-mile safe altitude, so within 100 nautical miles of the airport, 4,900 feet will give you 1,000-foot clearance of the highest obstacle within 100 miles of that of the airport. So anyways, that's there. Missed approach, climb heading at 237 at runway heading, 3,000 feet, then be a left turn to 159, and we're going to intercept towards Petvo and hold. And if you wanted to see how I did a missed approach as well in the CRJ, I have a missed approach video as well that describes the whole thing about missed approach, how we conduct that. And it's actually all built into the CRJ Aerosoft chart or manual. It's all there. It's all the same information. I just put it in the video format. 3-degree slope, Pappy's on the left, SSALR type lighting. 2-4 left, going to plan to exit on Delta 2, Delta 4. Delta 4 has the hotspot when exiting, so we'll keep an eye on that. And then we're going to also hold short of 2-4 right when we exit as well.
And American 300.
Fuel-wise,
skipping out for approximately 5 minutes.
We have an extra 40. That's wrong. That has to be wrong. That's probably going to change. But we have an extra 4,200 pounds of fuel, and our minimum. Go ahead and bring my chart back up here. Our minimum fuel at Pearson is 3,800 feet. Oh, I might be right. So we have an extra 400. Sorry, let me go back do this again. 5,800 pounds at Toronto. Minimum is 3,800. So if we're at 3,800 pounds in Toronto, we're going to the alternate. Basically, we don't have enough fuel to conduct another approach. But we're going to have an extra, not 4,200 pounds. We're going to have an extra 58 minus 38. We're going to have an extra 2,000 pounds of fuel on top of our reserve. So we can definitely come back for another try. That number is completely off. And I'll go ahead and hide that guy. And that would be the approach briefing. Basically, I would obviously not talk about misapproach videos in it and other stuff, but as a tutorial-based thing, I kind of talk about the information a little bit longer. And you'd be considered briefed. It's a visual approach, so not much really to brief on that one. You could even probably tighten it up and shorten it a little bit as well, to be honest with you. Simple Takeoff says, our circling approaches authorized at your operator? They are not. We can only do SCDAs. Kelowna does have a circling approach, which falls into a circling slash it is a, like this is us.
The Erie altimeter 3007.
Okay, that was my pal at 16,000 for blue streak of 50 of 47. Good thing I was listening up. Let's go flight level 160. My pal, confirmed. Let's go direct intercept page. My pal requires 1,600 feet per minute. A lot of time. We're gonna wait. A lot of time. Ling requires 2. Still 1,500 for that guy. Tons of time. So I'm gonna wait for my pal to start my descent. He said when ready. Actually, he just said cross, so it's up to me. I'm gonna wait till that number says 28. So as we fly further and further, that descent path is going to increase. Right now it's only a 2.3 path. We want 4 for our descents. So plenty of time to go. Flightsman Game says, what the heck is 4900 around here? CN Tower is one of them. Yeah, I'm going to call it CN Tower as the main one, really. Within 100 miles, I have to check. Let's see if I can find anything.
Number 36 Delta, turn right heading 340, vectors ILS 21 left.
340 on the heading, vectors ILS 21 left.
I'm not really best at Navigraph mapping stuff, so we'll go VFR. So our VFR maps would have a little, at certain sections they'll have a giant arrow with a number saying that's the highest obstacle. But you can see here the terrain out here started, 3,900 feet, 4,000 the highest obstacle in this quadrant. 26. Can't see this one. Toronto's 31. So again, it's within 100 miles of this whole area, right? 33, 33,
545,
39.
flight level 370.
What was ours? 4,900? That's probably in here.
Center maintain flight level 370 again, 545.
As long as, I don't know if that's 100 miles, but I'd have to calculate it. But anywhere in this quadrant, there's something at 3,900. So if you're flying at 3,900, you'll be level with the object. Oh, really? Awesome. That's awesome they came online. Maybe it came online just for me. I'm going to tell myself that. So it means Toronto ATIS is online. Let's go ahead and grab the ATIS for Toronto, not the island airport. Toronto ATIS, information X, 50 mile, broke 55, basically right off the thing, 3003. ILS 24 left. There's no RCC codes. RCC is runway, basically runway condition code. And we're looking for 666 in the RCC. That means bare and dry and amazing. As you start working down the numbers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 being the absolute worst. Most people wouldn't land past the 3. 3 is already starting to get pretty dicey. So Toronto Center is 25.775. I'll have that on the backup, 25.775. He's ready to go. Crossing Maple at 16. How are we doing?
224 Cleveland Center left.
Still a bit to go. This is usually where I have to start going to the bathroom in real life, and this is where I got to start going to the bathroom here. So that checks out. That's realistic.
Throwing 224. Approved as well.
So if you see this, we're actually going to be coming right over the Niagara Falls area. So that's pretty cool. You can see Niagara. So it should be just off the right-hand side of the airplane. We'll be probably pretty high, but you can see that restriction I built in there is right there as well, so that's all good for us. Now, this one is at 16,000 crossing. We also want to make sure that our next altitudes we're coming up to aren't exceeding any limits. So we're still at 1,900 for BIMPO and youth, so we're still good on that. I'll probably start down again when that says 28, so we're slowly building on up. Yeah, the honeymoon capital of the world, Niagara Falls. Good old Niagara. Niagara on the Lake's quite nice, at least it used to be, I've been told. Now, one thing I'll actually add to my brief in Flight Sim World is this is the regular public CRJ, which does not land like the beta CRJ. So I'll have to take out power a lot earlier than I normally would rear roll, than I normally would in the beta as well. I just noticed that thumbnail's a little off. Let me go ahead and fix that while I'm kind of just cruising away. But normally rear roll in the CRJ and in the beta as well, it's when you hear 50 feet, your eyes go down the runway. don't change anything. When you hear 40 feet, don't change anything. Keep the descent going. When you hear 30 feet, start working the power back. When you hear 20 feet, start adding your flare. When you hear 10 feet, continue flare. Continue reducing power all the way to idle. You should be idle by 10. And you're also going to add your rudder for any crosswinds required as well. Is the beta landing so much better? It is a lot better. The current CRJ is so ridiculously easy to land and grease it and butter, whatever you want to call it. The real CRJ is quite a trick to get it to butter. It's quite a trick to land it nicely. It's even more of a trick to get a greaser or whatever you want to call it, because stubby short little wings, the engines are above the CG at the back and they're very far aft, so it makes it for a really quirky kind of flying airplane. And if you pull power too early, you will fall, and there's usually not enough flaring that's gonna be helping you out. You might be able to rest a little bit, but it'll happen quick.
Cleveland Center, good evening. American 3784 on the ground here at Pittsburgh.
Here.
Looking to get IFR down to Reagan with Yankee.
Maypulse 32, a little late on the game. Let's go ahead and go. Let's go start going down. I'll set 16 in a second here. We'll go 34, idle thrust.
American 3784.
And we're on 16,000 is the first restriction currently.
3784. Cleveland Center, you're cleared to the Reagan National
And we wanted to send at 0.77.
Radar vector.
Notice how fast it dipped the nose down. The beta won't do that. Beta will do 3 degrees a second. Rear will do 3 degrees a second maximum as well.
Anyways,
what was I talking about?
Departure this frequency, squawk 411.
Yeah, so in the beta, the technique we use, rear world, works quite well, and it should be a lot. It should be present a new challenge for people that are used to buttering the CRJ. They might start getting some thumpy landings. It's not obviously 100%. It's never going to be rear world stuff, but it gets you a bit more in the mindset of I can't just pull idle at 100 feet and flare it on with a limited lift. Mo says when the new update comes out, is it the new gen CRJ? This technically is the new gen CRJ. It does basically all the features except for LPV approach, but you can go options. Next page, couple VNAV. There's your NG feature. That's an NG feature only. Only the next gen has that. The next thing that's only an NG feature, which I'm not going to show today, but is the auto nav transfer. What that means is we're in white needles right now, and when we want to intercept an ILS, I'm going to go ahead. Let's go and actually go 3,000. I'm going to go ahead and go green needles manual in the nav source, green needles manual in the left side. But in the NG, I don't actually have to. I can just click approach, and the FMS has told it it's an ILS, so it'll arm loc and glide slope. And as soon as localizer is captured, it automatically switches white to green. That's an NG feature only, and that does currently work in the current build. So technically, it's an NG, but you can kind of make it an older bird as well. Simple says your landings yesterday was greasy. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I didn't even know you were there, so maybe you're just a good luck charm.
Number 90536 Delta.
And we want to cross at 16. So we're going to just match it up. 16 132. We're going to command 32 idle thrust. And we want 290 in our descents now. Now. Clouds approaching, visible moisture, I see that. The SAT is still minus 48, so we don't need any anti-icing below minus 40. However, it's going to get warmer as we get lower. So as soon as we touch those clouds, we're going to need the anti-icing on. However, we don't have to slow down just yet, but just in case, I'm going to go 34. I'm just going to build myself a little bit of slowdown time just in case. And sometimes Toronto wants you to slow anyways for whatever reason. Front Kenny says thanks for doing this stream. CRJ is my favorite bird. Awesome, man. Thanks for watching. My favorite's Concorde, but I'll never be able to fly that. So, but the CRJ is definitely a sweet little airplane. It's a handful at times, and if you don't watch it, it will bite you. But that's kind of what makes it a little bit fun too. So, I went ahead and locked my wheels, my office wheels. Most of those, that's awesome. Looking forward to this update. I need to refresh my memory. I've never flown the aircraft for a hot minute. On MS 2024, hopefully it will be compatible with 24. I think that's the plan. definitely in the future for sure, 100%. Have you flown the FSS E-Jets? I own them. I bought them whenever they came out, never touched them again. When I got hired to my company, I bought the RJ, I bought the E-Jet, I already had to queue an X-plane, and I'm like, whatever I get, I'm prepared. I just flew, I got the RJ, so I just flew the RJ, but I do own them. I don't really have any want or need to fly them. My RJ needs, or my short haul needs are done by the CRJ basically. And even the MD-80, I love that plane. So, but yeah, it doesn't interest me. Anyways, we're coming up to these clouds. So I'm going to wait a little bit. We're going to warm up the wings and cowls after. We're on a descent. So Bombardier claims above 230 knots, the wings won't accumulate ice. However, for a descent and approach on the safer side, we just go ahead and throw 3 on anyways. Daniel said, yeah, I read that one. Mo says, I love the CRJ so much. I'm really glad you're doing an update for this aircraft. It needs love. Yeah, it really does. And thankfully they are doing it for us, so that'd be great. And it's free of charge for 2020 and Xbox, to my knowledge. Well, technically not the Xbox because it's not been on Xbox, so you're going to have to buy it. But free of charge up here 2020.
Delta 2896.
So that one's commanding 2300. I'll do 2500. I'm just kind of leading it by 2. You can see we're going to be level just slightly higher.
6 cycle transponder. Walk 5227.
Chuck says, have you ever tried piston and turbine Duke from stuff? No, I do have the Kodiak though. Let's go ahead and warm up these wings and cowls here before we get into it, because they're anti-icing systems, not de-icing systems. So we're going to get everything warmed up. It doesn't take too long. We're going to get everything warmed up before we get into the icing condition. So minus 30 on the SAT, below 10 degrees positive on the TAT, entering visible moisture, wings and cowls required. Basically, in cloud, below 10 degrees and above minus 40, you're going to need wings and cowls on. Unless you're above 230 knots, the wings can be off. Unless you're in descent where all 3 go on. And that's kind of how the CRJ works. There's a lot of them less and less and less and less and less, but.
We'll head over to Unicom, make sure coverage tonight.
Go transition.
District 5047, contact Toronto Center now, 125.7.
I love the B button, man. What a beautiful thing. Now over to the center, Toronto Center, Blue Streak 5047. About to miss that call because I'm not used to hearing Blue Streak. Anyways, go ahead and transfer over. Toronto Center, Blue Streak 5047, 17,000, descending 16,000 across Maple 16.
Blue Streak 5047, Toronto Center, hello. Information X-ray 24 left in Toronto, the altimeter 300.
Okay, copy your marks. We got the ATIS X-ray, Blue Streak 5047, thanks, 2 for left. I don't know why it's still flashing at me, but I'll click that. Should be flashing 17 for 16. And we're gonna keep it going here. We haven't been slowed down, so let's go ahead and keep it going. Alt's capping at 16,000. What we do have to get looking out for, he hasn't given me lower, so I'm not allowed to descend. Bimpo is looking at 11,000, so we're looking good there.
Good evening, Charlie, Foxtrot, X-ray, Tango, India. Foxtrot, X-ray, Tango, India.
So this is the RJs, you gotta keep up with the game. Made our first restriction, 16 at Maple. You know, it's all it's capping forever. That has been addressed. I mentioned that to the developers. It's been addressed a lot better. Anyways, we'll hold at 320 on the speed. So we got to keep ahead of the game. Next thing to come up is youth, 250 knots, 11, below 13. So I kind of want to squeeze through the window, maybe around 12-ish, and we'll be slowing to 250 as well. I'll keep this page up. This number in real world would be displayed right here. And we get a top of descent marker as well. Let's watch the speed, bring that back a little bit. And until he tells me to descend or manually slows me.
5047, continue descent 11,000.
Okay, continue descent 11,000, Blue Streak 5047. I don't know why he's calling me 5047, that's quite annoying. I'm technically supposed to call my call sign what he's calling me. Now he's giving me descend not when ready, so he just tells me to descend, so I gotta kind of start going now. So we'll go down to 2,000 in a minute or so. Actually, we'll do 17 a minute. We'll play the bar. So I'm going to be level at 11 there. I got to be above 11 there. So let's start matching. I want this because I'm descending 11,000 and I can be above it. I want this just slightly past youth. Let's do 1,000 a minute. What does that get us? Put us some power in for 320 here. This is kind of the mental calculation, a little bit of, you know, it's called TLAR. That looks about right. I want it to be a little bit closer. We'll do maybe 1200 a minute. And I don't want to level off. That's looking pretty good, especially when I slow, yeah, when I slow down, that's going to get closer to me. So let's go ahead and do 1100 for now. We're going to bug 250 on the speed. We have 20 miles, 5 minutes to get to youth. So I'll probably start slowing at about 10 miles to youth. I'm going very slow. So if I go idle right now.
Blue Streak 5047, go direct to Mayrod.
Direct Mayrod, Blue Streak 5047.
Correct.
Okay, execute that. So that restriction is gone. So I'm going to hold 320 until I get 10,000. I love this. He's going to clear it all the way up for me. I got really quick. That's how quick we can keep this RJ. Keep going. Keep it going. So we do have a restriction, however, and that's going to be 10,000 feet. Obviously, is 250 knots, right? So 2,000 feet away from our selected altitude. So it's 2,000 feet away from 10. Sorry, not select altitude, but restriction altitude. 2,000 feet away from 10,000, which is 12,000 feet. I would have to shallow our descent from 3,000 a minute to 1,200 a minute, but we're already doing basically 1,200 a minute. I'll just even match that up for good old sake. So basically all I got to do is once I hit 12,000 feet is pull idle and let it decelerate to 250. So I'll go ahead and bug 250 for memory there. It says only if descent and maintain meant restrictions canceled. Yeah, well it actually did because he gave me a cleared Mayrod, so that restriction's gone. Right? If he said descend via the star or follow restrictions en route, which I can't because there is none until I get to, actually I don't think there's anything until I get a little bit, a lot further down the road here. You gotta see here, 24 left, 24 left. Yeah, so he cleared youth, he cleared Bimpo, he cleared Verco. I'm at Mayrod. Technically no restrictions left in that star, except for the 250 at 10. So we're going to keep 250 the whole way. No need to slow down until he tells me to, other than 10,000 feet. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Isaac. Shaq, what is your favorite?
Blue Streak 5047, descent 4,000 unrestricted.
4,000 unrestricted, Blue Streak 5047. There's no one here. Let's go down to 4,000 feet. Still maintaining 250 at 10. So here comes 12,000 feet. Unrestricted doesn't mean you can blow the 250 at 10, unfortunately. 12,000 feet, reduced our thrust, nice and easy to idle so no one gets kicked in their seat. And you're going to watch the speed beautifully bleed off and almost kiss 10,000 at 250. Usually it's pretty good. We still got the anti-ice on as well.
Air Canada's 545, Toronto Center hello, information X-ray, the altimeter 3003,
because we're still in this cloud here.
Plan 24 left.
Sorry, I was reading a comment. Shaq, what is your favorite plane in MFS besides the CRJ, of course? In Microsoft Flight Sim, favorite plane. I don't fly it often, but I love the MD-83-8, or I have the 83 or whatever, one of those. The MD-11's awesome. Again, don't fly it often. I love the Phoenix. I kind of love them all. And I have all the peripherals for the Phoenix, like the EFIS and the FCU from Windwing and the FMS from Windwing, the MCDU. So just for that reason, I'm going to say the Phoenix 320, and it's obviously really well done, but I love the MD-83 as well. I got to get back into that. Probably do a stream with it shortly as well. Cap Jack says, so can you briefly explain autopilot capability in CRJ? No auto speed, lots more hand fly. Yeah, so no auto land, no auto throttle, no auto brake. Real quick, look at this. 10,005, nicely coming down 250. Works like a charm every time. And now that I've been given a speed restriction, and I'm at 250 already, watch this, speed mode, descend 250, basically a level change. I'm gonna leave my thrust in idle, and the airplane's gonna pitch to maintain 250, and it's going all the way down to 4. If I want to, be a little bit further down the road at 250 knots, all I have to do is increase my thrust. And now there's extra thrust, which means it can't maintain 250, which means the nose should start coming up, but it doesn't look like it's going to want to do that today. Oh, it's slowly doing it. Yeah, 70 to Curix. We're basically at Curix now.
Air Canada's 454.
So I'm going to set my flap 30 speed. And I'll slow when ready for it. We're still at 170 to Curix. Curix is going to flash. We're passing it. A little high on the slope, but that's okay. Glideslope says it's there, but the altitude should be 1970.
Air Canada 7.
Runway's in sight, just a visual landing.
Back on the lane there.
Flat 45, a ref 135.
Nose to the west, Plant X, Delta Papa.
Flaps and gear are down, spoilers retracted, landing lights on, clear to land, good to go. Yeah, this airplane is definitely much better with 2 people in the flight deck. A lot of work for 1 person, but can be done. It's checked, and it's pretty much stabilized there, so I'll catch up with the comments later. But Captain Jack, do you know if the wind wing panels have an integration? So the FCU has full integration. I don't know about the EFIS. The rudders obviously do. And I don't think the MICDU has it just yet either.
India, Roger, the wind's 230-7.
Alright, so do some manual flying here. My gears are wheels are locked on my chair. Autopilot disconnect button twice. Once to cancel the autopilot, once to turn off the autopilot, once to cancel the warning. And the call there would be autopilot off, autopilot disengaged. I hear a lot of people say my airplane.
Air Canada's 4-3.
The airplane's always yours.
Wrong side there.
So the airplane is it's always yours. It's not like the autopilot took it over from you. The autopilot's a tool.
Right now,
so autopilot disengaged or something like that is the correct terminology for that one.
To go down to 6,043.
Anyways, looks like we got a wind from the left-hand side, pretty light. So it'll be a slight right rudder correction and a slight left aileron once we do that right rudder correction.
To Varco as we speak.
This is 2020, Julian.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, I have to bring the power back earlier in this current version than the beta version as well. We're start bringing power back basically now in this beta, in this current version. Flare, rudder, and a little bit of left wing down. Hold it. Reverse is cracked. Idle
Air
reverse.
Canada 545, descend 4,000.
We'll add brakes for the next exit, increasing my left aileron as we decelerate here.
Air Canada's 4-3, reduce speed now, 190 knots.
I'll let off the brakes a little bit. All manual braking, by the way. So you have nice squeeze the brakes and add as you go. The real world brakes are crazy sensitive. A pinky toe pressure and they go off, and they're very strong. They're steel brakes, unlike carbon brakes. You got to put a lot of force in them so they heat up. The steel brakes act; they're immediate toe pressure.
Air Canada's 545, updated.
So we're clearing Delta 4,
3002.
and we're going to stop before 24 right.
Roger.
And we're going to taxi Bravo 10, 10 Bravo. All right, we'll go flaps, light, aft cargo, probes, no, what's it called? No weather radar was used.
Air Canada 4-3, check the speed there, speed 190 knots, please.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Jack. And if you pull power back at basically 50 feet in this airplane, start working it back in the current version of the CRJ, that'll work quite nicely. It won't work in real life, and it won't work in the new one that comes out. That one will be the new landing technique, which I actually already have videos on from before. It's always my landing technique regardless. I'm going to tell them that we're clear here. And center 5047, we're clear 24 left.
Blue Streak 5047, cross runway 6 left, taxi via Charlie, Alpha, Alpha Tango to the ramp.
6 left, Charlie, Alpha, Alpha 7 to the ramp, Blue Streak 5047. So that's kind of weird. Usually they tell you cross 24 right. I'm going to actually put in here real quick.
For the touch and go?
Charlie, Alpha, Alpha 7.
Like to
and we're clear right.
Over, and then could we do
we're clear left.
Which is north of the shoreline.
The 24 right is not in use, so I'm going to keep my strobe off. No need for that.
Extra Tango India, Roger.
Yeah, Alpha 7, I figured that one is.
206.
We're Blue Streak though, so they tax to
on the go right-hand turn and not above 10. 2,000.
Once Charlie, which is the first right turn, Alpha.
Roll out right-hand turn and then not above 2,000 feet.
Yeah, Alpha 7. I don't know. We'll see what that means.
Air Canada's 4-3, descend 3,000.
Let's get across this. We'll deal with one thing at a time.
Air Canada's 545.
Buddy South Tango. That would make sense. Yeah, I've never heard of an Alpha 7.
Left heading 330, Canada 54. That's correct. Descend 3,000. Start reducing speed 190 knots.
Down to 3,000.
And Alpha Tango makes sense where I'm going to, so. I don't know, I said Alpha 7, didn't correct me, which is kind of weird, but I trust it's most likely Alpha Tango.
Heavy, Toronto Pearson, stand 175, requesting push and start.
We'll put it in there.
Canada's 858 Heavy,
Go ahead, clean this up.
Company's just pushed behind you there. He's going to taxi behind.
White needle.
I'll call you for the push.
White needle. Flight director off. Okay. Now, because the flight director is set to my side, as soon as I click the flight director off, it should also do the other side. But anyways. So we're taxiing Charlie. Be left on Alpha. It's second left turn after
Toronto,
that runway there.
858 Heavy, if the company
which we're going to be behind it anyways.
We can push to a beam.
And then all the way to Alpha Tango. Gate 10 Bravo. Let's go ahead and get GSX all set up.
Push lane, or push onto the lane there, nose facing to the east, just beyond Alpha Mike.
Cup checks, it's awesome stream. Love your show.
Okay, we'll be short of Alpha Mike.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm off with no girlfriend duties or work duties, I'll be here for sure to talk at least at the most, or at the least. We'll get GSX Bravo 10.
Air Canada 7476, company's pushing off the gate 175, use caution.
I don't know, whatever you like.
Papa, Alpha, Hotel, short 23, the altimeter is 3002.
Awesome, Isaac, thanks for watching.
Let's stop Alpha Hotel, short runway 23, we'll off for the company, Air Canada 7476.
So,
Air Canada 545
so
heading
that's pretty much really it. We did after landing checklist.
4 left.
260, clear the ILS 24 left.
Oh, let's see. I forgot.
That's correct. Speed 170 knots or greater until
Phantom Gaming was coming in. I think I missed his flight.
170 or greater until Carrick, Air Canada 545.
I kind of wanted to get his. Oh no, that's him. That's him. So we'll
Extra Tango.
We'll get him on the landing here. We'll get to the gate hopefully quickly enough. He's probably at that 10 to 12 mile mark if he just got that 170 Carrick call. Take the left here at Alpha. Usually under 10 knots is a good speed for us. I'm doing it at 12 a little quick.
Air Canada's 43, turn left heading 330.
Left 330, 43.
Sure.
Let's see on VATSIM radar how far. Air Canada 545. Yeah, he's about the 10 mile mark. I'm gonna speed it up. It's a rocket ship down there. Yeah, thrust that basically. No, we're only going 28. We're fine. Straight line, dry day. Don't know if I'll be able to catch him in time. I really want to. What maybe I'll do is, I have an idea. I got 1, 2, 3 to go. Oh, I gotta take this right turn. Dang. I was gonna set up a showcase view real quick.
Air Canada 43.
About 26, Isaac.
The ILS 24 left.
Captain Jackson, see if I was a master. Glad to be a student. Have learned so much. Awesome, man. Thanks. I'm definitely not a master. There's many captains much smarter than I am.
Heading 270 for the.
And many FOs that are much smarter than I am as well. But I hope I can bridge the gap between real world a little bit and flight sim world a little bit.
Heading 270.
270, 43.
Okay, we're on the after that turn.
Speed
Let's go ahead and
knots or
pretend this airplane's going to hold straight line. And we'll go speed. I don't know why it's all weird. And let's get over here. quickly.
Canada 545. Toronto winds are 200 at 6 knots. Clear land 24 left.
Clear land 24 left. Air Canada 545.
Good enough. Okay. I'll just have to keep an eye out for that. Still got a little bit to go. Let's go ahead and set this up a little bit better. Oh, it's following me. Don't do that. There we go. Go back here. Fix that. Don't judge me. Nah, you're all good. You can press space on your keyboard to read. Oh, I just pressed 5. I don't know what space did that. I'm gonna start slowing down here. No reason to be ripping. And we're gonna set this camera a lot slower than that. There we go. We're all oh, I'm completely stopped. We're all ready for your flight sim gaming. Let's get the show on the road.
Canada 43, we are established on ILS 24 left. Roger.
I'm going to take this turn. It should be good enough. I'll take this turn and I'll go. And if the tower knew what I was doing right now. It's a good thing it's a sim. Okay. Alright. He didn't give me a lane to follow. I'm just going to pick any of them the one I want. I believe Alpha 10's in the corner there. I didn't actually check because I never come here. But we're just going to look for our ground crew. And I'm kind of just going to pick any gate. Pretty good timing, eh? Beauty. Touchdown zone. Looked nice to me. That's 5. I mean, Bravo's on this side. 12, 13. Hey, we're doing good without even realizing it. Let's get back on our line.
Toronto Air Canada 58 Heavy with information. Yankee now we're short of Alpha.
10 Alpha. Bravo 10.
Canada J58, thanks for Yankee.
No crew, even though I thought I
Alpha Mike Alpha Hotel, short
told them.
23, call ready. Alpha Mike Alpha Hotel, we'll call you ready. And copy Alpha 23002.
Huh, did I pick the wrong one?
Air Canada 545.
Anyways, there's Bravo 10.
Taxi via Charlie, Alpha.
Taxi light off, we'll get the APU started.
Cross 6 left, taxi by Charlie, Alpha, Alpha Lima to the gate.
Sometimes the ground crew's so quick that they'll even plug in the GPU. You can just go right to GPU power. Obviously wouldn't be allowed to go in without a marshaller and or that screen working, which is tilted the wrong other way. We'll wait for the APU to come up. How close is flight time in Toronto to the real world? It's pretty freaking close. They finally fixed that giant ditch that was in between on the taxiway Alpha over there from taxiing from Alpha towards Hotel up to 2-3. That's all been fixed. So pretty good. I can actually give you a bit of a Toronto tour after in a little bit. Once I got this APU up and running here, you know what? We'll save some time. I'd say they're a very good crew. They got the Choction, they got the cart plugged in. Go right to ground power. I don't even need it. Boom, boom. Turn that off. No anti-ice was on, so we can turn the thrust levers off. Yep. Off. That's already off. Beacon. Steering. And transponder to standby. Cool, that's shut down, pretty much done. That's it. I'm going to watch some other landings. Everyone else coming in? Oh, look at that. Perfect timing for that as well. Yeah, flight time for Toronto is awesome. Really well done. I'll get off Batson here and I'll show you a little bit.
Heavy swing, 3 minutes.
So 777 for 1 sync on my PD signal. We should have, there he is, that kind of 545 flight sim gaming. Anyways, that's crazily loud. I'm using, what's that free one called? FSTL, I guess that one. And what I did with it was, I turned all the model scaling from 4K or whatever it is to 1K, so I got a lot better performance with it. There's a video online I used to do that. Anyways, this is a Terminal 1. Okay, I messed up. It's all inside here. This is Terminal 3 now. Terminal 1's all the way over there. And what connects these guys is a little link train. You can see the tracks right here. one on each side of this building. This is Terminal 3 train.
Air Canada 4-3, cross runway
And
6
parking
left,
lot for the
19
crews
Delta.
also on this train.
Alpha.
Usually
Alpha,
got the
leaving
Endeavour
runway,
RJ parking over here. And sometimes you got some 767 Air Canada stuff over there. This train also leads you to obviously the Terminal 1 link station train. There it is. There's the train. It also leads you to Terminal 1 train, and that has the UP Express, which is a train that takes you from Charles Pearson Airport all the way.
Alpha and Alpha.
And I messed up again.
You got it.
That train takes you all the way down to City Hall. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
Car departure, good afternoon.
Somewhere in there.
Canada 7476.
Actually in there.
1,700
So pretty cool scenery.
Air
Yeah,
Canada
UP Express is pretty classic, eh?
7476, radar on departure, after noise.
I'm going to disconnect from VATSIM unless Flight Sim Gaming is coming to meet up, but it's kind of loud.
Direct Murdo 15000, Toronto, or Air Canada 7476.
Sure.
Anyways, yeah, it went pretty well, I think. We usually do a crew debrief at the end of the checklist there. And note what I'd add for myself is obviously missing that 10,000 approach check. So we'll do better next time. Again, being single pilot, doing everything is, especially without checklists, is first of all a bad idea. But yeah, it's for fun. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned. Hope you guys will buy the CRJ if you haven't bought it already, or fly it more often. Hopefully with a bit more precision. I hear a lot of complaints about it doesn't capture lokes and it doesn't do this. I mean, you saw it right there. Worked pretty much as it's supposed to, actually, A to B wise, with a couple things here and there. The FMS, logic, and maybe the like that speed mode wasn't wasn't nosing up, but for the most part, it's pretty decent. Beta will make it obviously, or the patch will make it a lot better. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for flying along Flight Sim Gaming, and whoever will join as well, please like, comment, subscribe what you liked about it. Leave a comment over what you liked, and we'll see you guys in the next stream. Have a good rest of your